Who's ready for some math learning today? Teacher Kay French is, and she's ready to share her lesson with you. Let's start with some quick calculations, and these will be, so let's go 19 minus 8, 11. 6 times 5, 30. 12 divided by 3, 4. 4 times 9, 36. 18 plus 12, 30. 27 minus 9, 18. 36 divided by 6, 6. 10 plus 8, 18. 5 times 5, 25. All right, now I want to add a few more numbers to our calculations here. 12 divided by 4 times 9 minus 7 plus 5. 12 divided by 4 times 9 minus 7 plus 5. Answer is 25. Good job. Here we have 5 times 5 plus 10 minus 7 minus 6. 5 times 5 plus 10 minus 7 minus 6 equals 22. Great job. You guys are on fire this morning. Here we go. 11 minus 7 plus 6 minus 5 plus 9 plus 5 equals 11 minus 7 plus 6 minus 5 plus 9 plus 5 equals 19. One more. 32 divided by 8 divided by 4 times 6 times 3 divide 2 plus 7 equals 32 divided by 8 divided by 4 times 6 times 3 divide 2 plus 7 equals 16. Great job on the warm-up skills today. Let's do the multiplication family of the 8s. 8 times 1 to 8 times 12. Let's begin with 8 times 1. Here we go. 8 times 1, 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4, 32. 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 7, 56. 8 times 8, 64. 8 times 9, 72. 8 times 10, 80. 8 times 11, 88. 8 times 12, 96. Keep working on the multiplication facts. All right, today we're going to do measurement equivalence. We're going to start with linear measurements. Linear is to measure length. You have an English measurement. We use inches for that, and we have English is 12 inches equals a foot. So if you have a ruler, this is kind of a little bit hard to see where it's a clear ruler, but it has 12 inches. This 12 inches ruler is equal to 1 foot. If we again take 3 rulers and put side by side or end to end, we will then have what's called a yard. And a yard, let's see here, a yard is 36 inches. And if we see this also as a yard 36 inches, this is also equivalent to 3 feet. 1 to 12 is a foot, so 24 is a foot, 24 to 36 would be another foot. Again, if we know 12 times 3 is 36, gives us 36 inches. We also use a mile for English measurement, and a mile has 5,280 feet. And if we wanted to put the mile into yards, we would have 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. So our linear measurement for English measurements that we use for length, we use 12 inches equals 1 foot. We have 36 inches equals 1 yard. 3 feet is to 1 yard. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And 1 mile is 1,760 yards. Now, we've talked about some metrics and to be in the unit. Well, the unit for linear, for length, is a meter. It's the most common. They also use centimeter and kilometer for length. A meter is slightly larger than 1 yard. It's actually equal to 1.09 yards. So in metric, we use to remember those prefixes. We have deci, centi, milli, and then we have deca, hecto, and kilo. Again, those are our metric prefixes, and this is where it comes into play when we have that U for unit. So linear is meter. We either use English measurements of inches and feet and yards, and we use metric, we use meter. Now we're going to talk about the measurements of capacity. Capacity simply means room for things. So when we're measuring capacity, is how much can go into the thing. All right, so we start with English measurements, and we start with 1 cup. These are definitely for fluid ounces too. 1 cup, if you can see that 1 cup would be right here. It says 8 ounces, and 8 ounces equals to a half a pint. So 1 cup You can see, try to put it in there. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. That's a standard cup. We see here 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. If we took 2 cups and we put them together, we would have a pint. And a pint holds 16 fluid ounces because it holds 2 cups. Then if we would take 2 pints, take 2 of these, we would have what's called a quart. A quart is equal to 2 pints. 1 quart, and then would be 32 ounces because it has 2 pints. If we wanted to take 2 of these, we would end up having a half a gallon. So 2 quarts would equal a half a gallon. This is the size of a half a gallon so you could see it. But if we took 4 quarts and say we had 4 quarts of milk, then we would end up with 1 gallon of milk. And that's the most common thing that you would normally buy milk in. You can buy milk in gallons or half gallons. But 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. All right, so 1 cup has 8 fluid ounces. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. And 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. We also have what's called teaspoons and tablespoons. The teaspoon is the little tiny measuring spoon. And if you were making cookies, you would want to make sure you pay attention to teaspoon and tablespoons, because when it comes down to salt, you definitely only want to use teaspoons. But it takes 3 teaspoons to make 1 large tablespoon. So 3 little teaspoons makes 1 large tablespoons. And we can see that up here, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. Again, these are English measurements of capacity, room for things. But in metric, we use what's called a liter. And again, those metric prefixes are very important. Again, the unit for capacity would be liters. And the most common metric ones for liters, for capacity is the liter itself, the milliliter, which is the smallest measurement, and the kiloliter, which is your largest measurement. We're going to now do some measurements on time. We have the measurements of time. Time is the passing of events. I brought a little clock here, and it has what's called a second hand, the one that goes tick, tick, tick around, as you can see. It takes 60 seconds to make 1 minute. 60 seconds makes 1 minute. And then in each hour, we have 60 minutes. So we start with 60 seconds, the little second hand that's going around calculating the seconds or the passing of time. And 60 seconds is 1 minute. 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Well, a whole day has 24 hours. So 60 seconds is 1 minute. 60 minutes is 1 hour. But if we have 24 hours, we've used a whole day. Well, then if we take 7 days, we have a whole week. And then if we take a whole week, we could put them all together to make a year. About 52 whole weeks makes up a year. And then if we talk about days in a year, we have 365 days in a regular year. Every 4 years, we have what's called a leap year, and we have 366 days. And then again, we have how many months in a year? 12 months. That's January through December. 12 months makes a year. So again, we can remember by looking at the clock, the passing of time, the passing of an event. We have a second hand, and it goes around calculating the seconds. Again, 60 seconds is 1 minute. And then every time it makes it all the way around for 1 minute, then it takes 60 minutes to make 1 hour. Again, 24 hours then is 1 day. 7 days is a week. About 52 weeks is a year. 365 days is a year. And then 12 months is a year. We measure time with our English measurement of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. And before we end this lesson of measurements and seeing them the visualization of measurements and the purpose of measurements, linear is length. Again, we use inches and yards and feet, and we use meters. We have capacity, the amount of something that goes in there. We have cups and pints and quarts. We have liters, and then we have passing of time, the passing of events. Let's do our multiplication of the 8s again. 8 times 1, 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 10 is 80, 8 times 11 is 88, and 8 times 12 is 96. Like, subscribe, and share.